Understanding Judaism and Zionism, thanks to Israel Shahak's book, Jewish History, Jewish Religion, Murder and Genocide, following. Letter from the soldier Moshe to Rabbi Shimon Weiser. With God's help, to his honor, my dear Rabbi. First, I would like to ask you how you and your family are. I hope all is well. I am, thank God, feeling well. A long time I have not written. Please forgive me. Sometimes I recall the verse, when shall I come and appear before God? I hope without being certain that I shall come during one of the leaves. I must do so. In one of the discussions in our group, there was a debate about the purity of weapons, and we discussed whether it is permitted to kill unarmed men or women and children. Or perhaps we should take revenge on the Arabs? And then everyone answered according to his own understanding. I could not arrive at a clear decision whether Arabs should be treated like the Amalekites, meaning that one is permitted to murder them until their remembrance is blotted out from under heaven. Note: Thou shalt blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven, Deuteronomy chapter 25 verse 19, and also First Book of Samuel chapter 15 verse 3. Now go and smite Amalek, but utterly destroy all that they have, and spare them not, but slay both man and woman, infant and suckling, ox and sheep, camel and ass. End of note. Or perhaps one should do as in a just war, in which one kills only the soldiers. A second problem I have is whether I am permitted to put myself in danger by allowing a woman to stay alive. For there have been cases when women threw hand grenades. Or am I permitted to give water to an Arab who put his hand up? For there may be reason to fear that he only means to deceive me and will kill me, and such things have happened. I conclude with a warm greeting to the Rabbi and all his family, Moshe. Reply of Rabbi Shimon Weiser to Moshe. With the help of heaven, dear Moshe, greetings. I am starting this letter this evening, although I know I can't finish it this evening, both because I am busy and because I would like to make it a long letter to answer your questions in full, for which purpose I shall have to copy out some of the sayings of our sages of blessed memory and interpret them. Note: we spare the reader most of these rather convoluted references and quotes from Talmudic and rabbinical sources. Such omissions are marked. The rabbi's own conclusions are reproduced in full. End of note. The non-Jewish nations have a custom according to which war has its own rules, like those of a game, like the rules of football or basketball. But according to the sayings of our sages of blessed memory, war for us is not a game, but a vital necessity, and only by this standard must we decide how to wage it. On the one hand, we seem to learn that if a Jew murders a Gentile, he is regarded as a murderer, and except for the fact that no court has the right to punish him, the gravity of the deed is like that of any other murder. But we find in the very same authorities in another place that Rabbi Shimon used to say, the best of Gentiles, kill him. The best of snakes, dash out its brains. It might perhaps be argued that the expression kill in the saying of Rabbi Shimon is only figurative and should not be taken literally, but as meaning oppress or some similar attitude, and in this way we also avoid a contradiction with the authorities quoted earlier. Or, one might argue that this saying thou meant literally is merely his own personal opinion, disputed by other sages quoted earlier. But we find the true explanation in the Tosafot. Note: the Tosafot, literally addenda, are a body of scholia to the Talmud dating from the 11th to the 13th century. End of note. There, we learn the following comment on the Talmudic pronouncement that Gentiles who fall into a well should not be helped out, but neither should they be pushed into the well to be killed, which means that they should neither be saved from death nor killed directly. And the Tosafot write as follows: and if it is queried, because in another place it was said, the best of Gentiles kill him, then the answer is that this saying is meant for wartime. According to the commentators of the Tosafot, a distinction must be made between wartime and peace, so that, although during peacetime it is forbidden to kill Gentiles, in a case that occurs in wartime, it is a mitzvah, imperative religious duty to kill them. And this is the difference between a Jew and a Gentile. Although the rule, whoever comes to kill you, kill him first, applies to a Jew, as was said in Tractate Sanhedrin of the Talmud, page 72a. Still, it only applies to him if there is actual ground to fear that he is coming to kill you. But a Gentile during wartime is usually to be presumed so, except when it is quite clear that he has no evil intent. This is the rule of purity of weapons according to the halacha, and not the alien conception which is now accepted in the Israeli army and which has been the cause of many Jewish casualties. I enclose a newspaper cutting with a speech made last week in the Knesset by Rabbi Kalman Kahana, which shows in a very lifelike and also painful way how this purity of weapons has caused death. I conclude here, hoping that you will not find the length of this letter irksome. This subject was being discussed even without your letter, but your letter caused me to write up the whole matter. Be in peace, you and all Jews, and I hope to see you soon, as you say, yours, Shimon. Reply of Moshe to Rabbi Shimon Weiser. To his honor, my dear Rabbi, first I hope that you and your family are in health and are well and are all right. I have received your long letter and I am grateful for your personal watch over me, for I assume that you write to many and most of your time is taken up with your studies in your own program. Therefore, my thanks to you are doubly deep. As for the letter itself, I have understood it as follows. In wartime, I am not merely permitted but enjoined to kill every Arab man and woman whom I chance upon, if there is reason to fear that they help in the war against us, directly or indirectly. And as far as I am concerned, I have to kill them even if that might result in an involvement with the military law. I think that this matter of the purity of weapons should be transmitted to educational institutions, at least the religious ones, so that they should have a position about this subject, and so that they will not wander in the broad fields of logic, especially on this subject. And the rule has to be explained as it should be followed in practice. For I am sorry to say, I have seen different types of logic here even among the religious comrades. I do hope that you shall be active in this, so that our boys will know the line of their ancestors clearly and unambiguously. I conclude here, hoping that when the training course ends in about a month, I shall be able to come to the yeshiva. Greetings, Moshe. Of course, this doctrine of the halacha on murder clashes in principle, not only with Israel's criminal law, but also, as hinted in the letters just quoted, with official military standing regulations. However, there can be little doubt that in practice this doctrine does exert an influence on the administration of justice, especially by military authorities. The fact is that in all cases where Jews have, in a military or paramilitary context, murdered Arab non-combatants, including cases of mass murder such as that in Kafr Qasim in 1956, the murderers, if not let off altogether, received extremely light sentences or won far-reaching remissions, reducing their punishment to next to nothing. Note: persons guilty of such crimes are even allowed to rise to high public positions. An illustration of this is the case of Shmuel Lachis, who was responsible for the massacre of between 50 and 75 Arab peasants imprisoned in a mosque after their village had been conquered by the Israeli army during the 1948-49 war. Following a pro forma trial, he was granted complete amnesty thanks to Ben-Gurion's intercession. The man went on to become a respected lawyer, and in the late 1970s was appointed Director General of the Jewish Agency, which is in effect the executive of the Zionist movement. In early 1978, the facts concerning his past were widely discussed in the Israeli press, but no rabbi or rabbinical scholar questioned either the amnesty or his fitness for his new office. His appointment was not revoked.